Okay, to begin this lesson, the first thing I want to do is just get rid of this reference image here. So I'm going to click on here and go down to delete and delete it out of my section. Also, don't really need this little plate that we created earlier, which isn't really going to help us. It looks quite nice there. You see how plating over the top of plating can look really quite effective, but we can put new plating over the top, and we might well do that once it's cleaned up. We might go through the procedure again of pulling the mask out and inflating slightly, manually cleaning up to create this this metal plate over metal plate effect, which gives the character real depth. But or we might not. Let's just see how we get on. For the sake of speed, maybe we won't, but it's just something to bear in mind. I'm just going to delete these plates out now because I don't really need them. Get rid of them. Okay, and we'll just save our model out. Just keep remembering to save your model out at crucial stages in case the machine crashes, which can happen quite easily, and it means you won't lose any work. So it's very important that you keep saving. Okay, I'm going to go back to the model up here, and what I want to do is just show you how the lazy mouse works. Now, say for instance, let's put this on a lighter colour, something like this. When you're masking, or you've probably found when you're masking, and I should have shown you this at the beginning, but it's good that you practice your freehand approach. When you're masking, you'll see that you put these lines in, and it's all good, it's very intuitive, but you might want a bit more control over it. So, we can use lazy mouse. So all you need to do to activate it, you'll see if you come to stroke lazy mouse, but that's now activated for the lazy mouse for the brush that you're using, and that's quite important because it's kind of specific. Everything can be set up separately. So if I now go to my masking method by pressing Control and you go up to stroke, you'll see that lazy mouse is turned off. So you need to make sure that lazy mouse is turned on for the particular tool that you're using if you want to use it. Now let's have a look at this. So I'm going to press the mask, I'm going to come up to stroke, and I'm going to hit lazy mouse. And notice these little controls here. Now if you click over them, it will tell you a little bit about them, especially, and that's with any tool. If you're outside and you hover over a tool and then you press the control key, it gives you information about each of those products. So you can pick up some good tips there. So we'll go in there. A lazy mouse radius is the radius of the brush, and it's the line that will be left behind. So it gives you a longer point or a lesser point. I've set mine to 30 there, and I've got my draw size to about 18. So now I'm going to click this on, and you'll watch there's a line that appears behind, and literally it won't draw until it hits that radius point. So there you go. So it allows you to kind of really slowly and accurately mask out your model. It's a really good tool, and in fact it's a good tool to use in sculpting as well. It can slow things down quite a lot. So with this method, what I tend to do is go around and mask my model like this in detail. And then I just choose, and this is only an example, I'm not actually finishing, then I actually go back, turn off the lazy mouse, and just manually fill it in because it's just quicker. And do remember that if you don't mask it completely, like if you leave a little gap, or it will actually show as a little artifact. That's what you've seen popping up on the model in some places. It just means that there's probably down at pixel level there's a little bit of mask that is left unmasked that you haven't gone over properly enough. And that's one of the problems that you get with a graphics tablet. Because you've got pressure control, it will actually fade the pressure out, so you might not cover the model. And that's why when I'm doing the masking sometimes like this, I'll actually use the mouse because there's no pressure sensitivity, so I know I'm going to get a solid line whatever. So that's a very important note to bear in mind about the disadvantage of a pressure sensitive graphic pad tablet. I mean, you can manually turn it up, turn it off. You could go into brush, you could go down to tablet, and then you could modify these settings to stop that happening. But I just prefer to just switch straight over to a mouse and use that for those kind of bits. Also, you'll notice because of the radius of my brush, to get a sharp corner I would have to come down and select a smaller draw size like this, and I get a sharper corner. But there is a way around this. Make sure your focal shift is down, have the draw size up, overdraw your mask area like this, and then press the Alt key and then just slice it off, and that gives you a quick way of creating a sharp corner without actually having to change the draw size. So it's just little tips like this that can be can speed your work up considerably. Right, so that's the lazy mouse. You're probably saying, why didn't you tell me that before? It would have been a lot handier when I was doing all this. But it's good that you suffer for your art. Sorry about that. I should have said it before, to be honest. I'm not making excuses, but it's kind of like good that you do everything freehand anyway, and try to control the mouse. Most of this was done without lazy mouse anyway, from my point of view, so it's a good challenge. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And you've learned something now. Next time you won't forget the lazy mouse after you've done all this lot. So okay, that's lazy mouse, and we'll come back now in the next lesson and refine the hand, and we'll do the boots. So we'll do the hand maybe in one lesson, we'll do the boots in another lesson. We'll finish off the kind of head area, because I've got this is actually not hitting in the right place, should be hitting up in the middle of the eye. So we'll change that and just clean up the model a little bit before we polish it and take it to the next stage. And the next stage might well be, I mean, we've got a while to go, but the next stage after finishing this model will be to retopologize it, and then we'll add further detail in it, and I'll show you how to make some custom brushes to add. The really fun part is adding these little rivets and things like that to the model. Very exciting stuff. And then we'll get on to poly painting, and obviously unwrapping the UVs, setting up texture maps, displacement maps, normal maps, exporting all of that out to Maya, the 3D application we're going to use for rendering the model out, and put it all together in there, and basically name all the geometry and have it ready to be packaged off to your client or to your in-house production team, rigging animation team. And then we'll cover the next section, which will be rigging the character, and I'll basically show you the principles of rigging a character like this, and making sure that it deforms properly using painted plates within Maya. You can do exactly the same within 3D Max, so if you just use it as a guide it will be helpful. But this course is mainly about ZBrush 4, so once we leave that and go into Maya, it's kind of like entering a different domain of work. But you can still follow along, and you can still use your experience with 3D Max to do exactly the same work as I'm going to be doing in Maya. So with lots to look forward to, and like I said, we're halfway through the project now, so well done if you've kept up so far and you've created your own character from scratch. And we'll, in the next lesson, as well as doing the hands and the boots, I'll also be talking about organising your file structure much better, and naming it as well, and lots of little tips and tricks along the way. So I hope you like it so far, and I hope you're learning from it. And of course send me comments, go on the forum, www.3djunkie.net, and join us on there, register and join in the discussions. The site is only released about a month ago, and there's a few subscribers hanging around waiting for things to happen, so it takes you guys to make this stuff happen, and talk amongst yourself and basically get the site going, and hopefully it will be a good resource for everybody. Okay, see you in the next lesson.